No, I'm not a Utah Jazz fan, but I've grown quite fond of the Utah Jazz because, first off, my subscribers who are Utah fans, you know, the Utah Jazz fans have treated me well, and I've grown to respect and admire the team at times. But then I have noticed that there are some flaws. So, right now, we're talking about the upcoming offseason priorities for this team. Let's get right into today's video. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think should happen? And let's get right into it and let's talk about it. The Utah Jazz postseason again finished in a sorry fashion. They blew a large series lead in their previous two playoff eliminations. And they got shut out by the Mavericks without Luka Doncic for half those games. And it appears that teams have finally figured out the Jazz squad completely and how to defend them and where to attack them. And yes, there's plenty of blame to go around. And it'll be interesting to see how Utah goes forward. And there's been rumors that the Los Angeles Lakers are very much interested in Quinn Snyder. So it seems like the franchise could be at a crossroad. Rudy Gobert's value is still at its peak. So if they wanted to trade Rudy Gobert for max value, it would have to be for this offseason. And Donovan Mitchell, there's rumors about the Heat, but I think he stays and they just change the roster completely. So let's get right into the video. Like and subscribe. I want to hear your opinions right now in the comment section. What do you think the Utah Jazz should do? Who should they get? Who should they trade? Why should they do it? And how will they do it? Let's get right into it. Like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. So if they run it back, Quinn Snyder's future with the Utah Jazz could be the first thing that they decide, okay? Because right now he's allegedly the front runner for the Lakers head coaching job, as well as the San Antonio Spurs job if Greg Popovich retires. With Danny Ainge in charge, he might want to choose a coach of his choice. And the Utah Jazz head into the offseason a little bit over $6 million over the luxury tax with 11 players on the roster. They'll have access to the $6.4 million taxpayer mid-level exception to add a player who can help. They'll mainly need to add, pretty decent two-way wing players and a backup center because Udoka Azubuike, even though I go to the University of Kansas, he's kind of been disappointing. And they also have a $9.8 million trade exception that they can use. But they've been in the market for some defensive-minded forwards and wings, and they will continue to pursue one. I mean, Daniel House looked good for them. And they're only limited to able to use 2 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks as trade assets this offseason. So it'll be interesting because the $19.6 million expiring contract of Bojan Bogdanovic makes him a logical trade candidate for them as a salary filler. And the Jazz will be able to bring back up to $24.6 million of incoming salary with him. So if they wanted, they could use a combination of, Bojan Bogdanovic, okay, and some of the other guys on this roster, such as, who they can move is, it's interesting, maybe Eric Pascal or, Udoka Azubuike still under contract, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, or if they even want to move Bojan Bogdanovic with, Rudy Gobert or somebody else on this roster that has a bigger set deal. But either way, let's continue talking about this team, and if they do try to run it back, they can move him, and they can maximize by utilizing their exceptions and guaranteeing Hernan-Gomez contract, and they could move them. But if they keep, Bojan and Hernan-Gomez, they're going to be looking at a tax payment of $70 million. And in comparison, they paid $19 million for this season. And it's kind of insane. So even if Utah is thinking of potentially resetting the roster this offseason, they're going to be repeat taxpayers, definitely. And there's a good possibility that the Jazz, if they run it back, same team, they could be competitive one more year, or if they just move one piece. Now, the B is to blow it up. The idea is the Jazz could break up Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert duo that has slowly gained momentum over the years, and supposedly their friendship has become fractured, especially when the pandemic began. And Tim McMahon said that an early playoff exit could result in a franchise-altering move, and Mitchell may not be long-term for Utah. And so here we're looking at it. Mitchell and Utah definitely seems like they would rather choose Mitchell over Rudy Gobert. And if they're moving one of them, the big decision is which one. And I think both players are combined earn 56% of the salary cap. And they both have their flaws, and which were exposed during the season, but they both are all NBA players that teams are going to want. And you can get either multiple young assets or you get guys who are right now. And obviously Donovan Mitchell will be the most coveted by teams due to the fact that he's younger and earning smaller contract than Gobert. But both are under contract till 2024 and 2025 with player options for the 2025 to 2026 season. So if the Jazz move one of them, they're going to prioritize keeping the other player more invested for the organization, city, and since they've been, trying to win, I think if they move one of them, they're going to probably move Boyan as well and maybe Mike Conley as well and keep Royce O'Neal and Jordan Clarkson. I just think Royce O'Neal, Jordan Clarkson, Donovan Mitchell are the guys you should keep, and a trade involving Conley and Bojan Bogdanovic and Rudy Gay would be better, and Rudy Gobert, and you just keep all the young guys because I don't think they're going to go into a full rebuild. But I mean, they did do that with Danny Ainge when they traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to Brooklyn. When I look at this, I think about this. Look, if they move on from Rudy Gobert, they save $38 million, 22 if they move on from Mike Conley, 19 if they move on from Boyan, and then you still have Jordan Clarkson, Royce O'Neal. I mean, you could keep Juancho Hernan Gomez, but I think you try to be a good young team.